So here was my solution for the lack of light at the front of the setup. I went and picked up some plastic sheets. It's not plexiglass and it's not Lexan. It's some other stuff. It's close to plexiglass, but it won't yellow. And I just put a couple screws at the top and the bottom of each corner. And I used chrome window tint on the outside of it, so I can still see in, but it's reflecting all the light back in. I've lost all the shadows at the front of the plant tags and the plants themselves, and I've got a lot more light in there now. So if I take this one off, trying to do it one-handed. All right. All right. So I got the window off. Now, if we look inside, you can see it's a mirror reflection. There's a lot more light in here now. So I'm going to slowly do that to each shelf. It's about 50 bucks a panel for the plastic. So I figure I'll slowly work at it and try to get them all done before winter. If I take this one off now and show you the difference. Okay, so you can see the shadows now, and even just as I pull it up, big difference. So you can see that these guys here, they're all leaning towards the light. So hopefully that'll take care of all that problem. I made up a small little sample to show you guys just with the scrap pieces. That's what it's getting on the inside, and I can still see through, no problem. But it's got a nice mirror finish, and it's actually, I picked up this at Home Depot too. I looked around, and I was gonna order it online, and it was about $35 for a 15 by 3 foot roll, which is actually pretty cheap. And it goes on the same way if you're going to tint your car windows. It's soap and water. But just to give you an idea, that's what I came up with for getting the light in the front of it. Oh, another little thing I want to show you. All the seeds that I recently planted, they're all doing great. And the first one just sprouted yesterday for the Fred's Redhorn. I was actually beginning to think that the seeds were no good or harvested too early. But I got my first one right there, so I'm just going to stay on top of the seeds, and hopefully the rest will sprout sooner or later. And for the dancing plant, I've got one sprouted right now, and a couple other that are just starting to pop up. That one was planted in the soil, so I went and took the rest of the seeds and put them down inside the soil. So hopefully the rest will sprout too, and I think I still have another package too. One or two more packages. I ordered a bunch when I ordered the seeds. But just trying to give you guys an idea, if you're going to do it inside, that you want as much light as possible. So I'm just going to put this back on, and I want to show you one other thing before I'm done. It was on pretty easy, but it's hard to put on one-handed. Okay. There we go. back on. So now, if you take a look, what I was worried about or concerned, if I planned on doing this right from the get-go, then I probably would have put sliding glass doors on it, which would restrict the airflow in it. But I've got a nice 1/2 inch to 1 inch gap in the top, and I also have the same in the bottom, and plus you have all the gaps that are going through on the plants, so you got lots of airflow going through. The back of each shelf also has a 1/2 inch gap in there too. But I noticed as soon as I put the first door on, it went up an entire degree. When I put the second door on this shelf, it didn't go up at all. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. If it gets too hot in here, I can always add a secondary fan in the end or even a vent, but I don't think it'll be necessary. But I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and it definitely should do the trick. I've also some of my pots, I used to try to sterilize the soil, so I was nuking it in the microwave and doing a tiny bit at a time, and being on a time limit. Usually when I'm planting seeds, some of them are a lot shallower than I want to be, so I've got some elongation on some of the plants too. So I started repotting them, and so you might see some in future videos that are longer than they should be, and that's the reason why, because I was actually repotting them and bring them up to the proper height. But definitely happy with that.